Doug Goehring's going to join us in a little bit, North Dakota's Ag Commissioner. Obviously, we've got some drought conditions out there, and the type of conditions nobody wants. I've been traveling all over the state of North Dakota, and what I've seen is pitiful. There are some spots where there's some decent crop, but there are mostly spots where there aren't, and certainly the pasture land isn't any better. And so we'll talk about that with the commissioner in a little bit. But the Delta variant has a lot of people's attention. It does, in states with very low vaccination rates. And so, you know, we use Dr. Nagpul a lot, and the reason we do is because he's a specialist. He is an infectious disease specialist at Sanford. And so let's get to him. Dr. Avish Nagpul. Doctor, good to have you back coming down the road with us.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you for inviting me back.
What's going on? I mean, really, what's going on out there? Because it feels like at one point we're winning. We're not talking about masks. It feels like, you know, we can fill up the restaurant or the bar or whatever. And now all of a sudden places like Cass County are talking about wearing masks again and looking at limiting the size of public venues. So it begs the question, what the heck is going on out there?
So nothing about that is a surprise, Joel. You know, the CDC said that vaccinated people can wear masks, can let go of masks and be okay. And unfortunately, that recommendation was taken as CDC saying that it's okay for everybody to be without masks. And that may have also been taken as, you know, this is over and it's okay, go about doing your business as usual. But it's not okay, it's not over. You know, we haven't met our vaccination goals. We remain significantly under-vaccinated. And Delta variant has obviously changed the ground game a little bit. Just infecting a lot more people, specifically who are not vaccinated, and causing a huge rise in cases. And when you have so much virus circulating in the community and there are no mitigating measures, and especially not enough people who are vaccinated, we are going to keep going around in circles and do the same thing over and over again, and then find someone to blame for that, and in this case, CDC, where we say that they keep flip-flopping. Well, the reason they keep, first of all, they don't keep flip-flopping, but the reason they have to go back on mask mandates is because we don't have enough people who are vaccinated.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because people say that right about the time people on the radio, individuals like me, do encourage them to get vaccinated, they quote that the CDC has said one thing and then done another. They quote the fact that the Food and Drug Administration has not yet approved the vaccine. What's our counter to that? What do we say to those individuals to say, you know what, that's not right, or that doesn't matter?
You know, it's very simple. CDC, whatever CDC is recommending is based on data, and they are very transparent. I'm like, if you disagree with the CDC's recommendation, show me how their recommendation doesn't fit with the data that they are very transparently putting out there in their publication called Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, a week-by-week report. I think we have plenty of data, and based on that, you have to pivot. You know, if you are in a war and you say that we have to follow the same strategy and not re-strategize as the war evolves, then I'm sorry, you're setting yourself up for failure. And of course, you know, when somebody is giving out recommendations and we don't follow it, and there are consequences to that, and we have to adjust our strategy accordingly, that's what we have to do. That's not flip-flopping. That's strategizing according to the ground situation.
So, you know, there's word had come out that those of us that have been vaccinated can carry the virus and can spread the virus. So if that be the case, then, you know, are we actually doing anything when it comes to mask wearing? For example, there's a lot of talk about in the building where I work, we told individuals that haven't been vaccinated that they need to wear masks. They adhered to it for the most part. I don't know who's been vaccinated, so I don't know whether or not all those individuals are adhering to it. What I do know is this: I, as someone who has been vaccinated, has been told I don't have to wear a mask. Well, now it's found out that, and I shouldn't say now, but maybe there was always a belief that I can spread the disease. I can spread COVID, and so shouldn't we all then be wearing masks?
Yeah, that's exactly what CDC recommendations say now. As they investigated the Provincetown outbreak, they realized that people who were vaccinated, and let's backtrack a little bit, the data that says the vaccines are protective and they protect the infection is still very strong, despite a huge upsurge in cases of Delta variant. The vaccine is effective against Delta variant. The only thing that's new is that if you do have a breakthrough infection, vaccine is not 100% effective, but it will protect. Even if it doesn't protect you from infection, it will protect you from hospitalization and death. No doubt about that. That is not open to debate. But if you do get a breakthrough infection, you are able to transmit infections like unvaccinated people do. But don't forget that if you are vaccinated, your chance of catching the infection and subsequently transmitting it is very low to begin with anyway. But if you do have a breakthrough infection, you can spread. And if you can spread to other people, then CDC recommends that you wear masks, not just for source control, but because the circulation is high, you are more likely to be exposed to virus on multiple occasions on any given day. So for me, it's a no-brainer that when you have such a circulating virus in the community and less number of people are vaccinated and vaccination is not 100% protective against infection, it is common sense to wear masks. Why are we arguing about that?
So, okay, we all need to wear a mask then. I understand the recommendation. When do we get to take off those masks? I mean, at what number? Because there was always a sense that 70% was the right vaccination number. That certainly is the one that the President of the United States put forth. At what point then do we get to say, all right, for you 30%, you've placed yourself at risk, you won't get vaccinated, the rest of us don't have to walk around with a mask?
Yeah. So when number of people are vaccinated and we have decreased level of circulation in the community because of that. So we have to understand where the 70% number came from. When you look at the ancestral strain of COVID-19, the original strain that originated from Wuhan in China, what we know that one person who was infected by the virus could spread the virus to another 2 to 3 people. So for every 3 people in the community, if 2 were vaccinated, that one person will not be able to spread that virus to another 2 people and so on and break the chain of transmission. The ground game has changed now. The Delta variant can spread from 1 person to 8 people. So we need to immunize 7 out of 8 people. So that 70% number is not valid anymore just because of change in viral characteristics. And viruses, just like humans, adapt to their environment, and we need to keep up our strategy based on that.
So what is the number? I mean, do you have a number? We're never going to achieve 100%. If we achieve 80%, it's going to shock me. I mean, Dr. Nagpul, what do you think that number is?
80 to 90%.
Okay. So do you think that's achievable, knowing that these individuals turned it into politics? And here's why it might be changing. Because of the fact that many of these individuals who didn't believe in the virus, who thought it was political, now have contracted the Delta virus. And so some of those, and we've had one of the individuals on air that didn't believe whatsoever in it, thought it was all a joke. Once he contracted it, now he, as a leader, as a state representative, is going around telling people to get vaccinated. And so are you seeing an uptick? Are you seeing a higher number? Are people waking up to getting vaccinated?
So we are, yes. Nothing changes our human mind than actually confronting the situation personally when it becomes our problem. It's easy to dismiss a problem that's happening in China or India or UK or even Arkansas or Louisiana or Missouri or Mississippi. once it hits our doors, it becomes our problem. We do change our minds based on our personal experiences. That's normal human behavior. And to answer your question about will we ever get to that number of 80 to 90% people getting vaccinated? Yes, we will. I'm very hopeful about that, because I think most of the people uh, who still are sitting on the fence, they haven't had access to proper informed decision-making process or proper data. They have been, and some of them have frankly been misled by the false information and narrative that's out there. Once we have more personal experience, more people will come around, more people will eventually see for truth that it is, and in the end, once the emotional response to COVID settles down and it becomes another respiratory virus that we have to live with, and yourself or your family member or your friend who has had the virus, people will come around to the idea of vaccination and that it is safe and effective.
So do you see us in a position someday, Dr. Nagpul, where we are treating the COVID vaccination the same way that I do the flu vaccination? And I hate comparing these two because it plays right into the anti-vaccination crowd. But the truth is, every fall or whenever my wife tells me to, quite frankly, I go in and get my flu shot. My wife's an RN, and she'll tell me when, hey, go get your flu shot. And so, is this something that you see with this vaccination I'm going to have to take yearly?
I don't know if we need a booster every year. I hope we don't. I think the data still needs to address that. So we'll wait on that answer to that question. But yes, I do want the vaccination to become, people to get comfortable with the vaccination and realize that it is no different than what other vaccinations we use, whether it's for polio, MMR, influenza, and whatnot. I think we need to think about the vaccine efficacy and safety by keeping the emotional response to one side and focusing on data, what the clinical trials and real world setting is telling us.
Well, before I let you go, I have to bring up one piece of data that I got into a debate on the radio over. And that was with my coworker. You can go back and listen to the podcast there if you don't think that it was heated. And you ended up being like the referee and smart enough to kind of stay out of it. But the truth of the matter is this. I believe that one of the statistics that matter the most is right now, the individuals that are in the hospital on respirators. And when you look at those individuals and you say, have you been vaccinated? You find that well over 90%, well over 95% have not been vaccinated. And to me, that's the ultimate data. The fact that the CDC says, well, okay, I as someone who has been vaccinated can carry it. It doesn't matter. If you get vaccinated, you're not going to be one of those individuals laying in that hospital bed. And doctor, to me, that seems as though it's the ultimate data.
Yeah, I agree. There is no argument against it. The data is pretty clear, like day and night. So, if you're saying that data doesn't matter, then, you're just having an emotional response to it and not looking at data.
Well, I know we call on you a lot. I know we utilize you a lot, but you know what? That's a good thing because you know what you're doing. So thank you, Dr. Nagpul, and hopefully we'll have another conversation soon.
My pleasure, as always. Thank you, Joel.
When we come back, we're going to have North Dakota's Commissioner of Agriculture, Doug Goehring, right here as we head down the road.
Howdy, folks. It's a Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bossing breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
August 7th helped to set the world record for number of paddlecraft on the Cheyenne River. Launch from Valley City or Fort Ransom State Park at 10 a.m. Central Time. See all the details and register at HelloValley.com.
Hi, Hunter Ellis here for Night Hero Binoculars by Atomic Beam. These binoculars let you see anything, even in pitch black darkness. Gotcha.
The secrets are powerful wide-angle atomic beam laser that reveals objects up to 150 yards away, hidden by darkness. During the day, Night Hero gives you 10 times magnification. And when the sun goes down, press the Night Bright button to see clearly in the dark. Light up garbage-eating critters or spot thieves before they even get close. Call or click now and get Night Hero binoculars for just $39.99. Order right now and you can double it. Plus, get our best-selling atomic beam flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. We'll even ship them to you free. This TV special offer is not available on Amazon. You can get it all, but you have to order now.
Call 1-800-619-1091. That's 1-800-619-1091. Or visit bynighthero.com. That's bynighthero.com. Order now.
Attention! Have you or a loved one suffered from maculopathy, a serious retinal injury, after taking the prescription drug Almiron for interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome? In 2018, a researcher at the Emory School of Medicine linked Almiron, a prescription drug that treats interstitial cystitis or bladder pain syndrome, to maculopathy, which is sight-threatening and can cause an abrupt change of vision. Call Almiron Justice for a free legal consultation.
Please call 800-395-5680.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Okay, let me take this moment for you to say, duh. I already know that, Joel, but it's dry out there. It's really dry out there. I've been traveling all over the state, pretty much every corner, and what I see, I don't like. I'm looking at areas where there just isn't going to be a crop. It's getting baled up for livestock, and quite frankly, it's not doing anything then in terms of meeting the needs of livestock. And so it was time. It was time for us to get the opportunity to talk to North Dakota's Commissioner of Agriculture, Doug Goehring, and he joins us right now. Commissioner, good to have you coming down the road with us.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
I know it didn't work out to do this online, but I was in town, asked if
Why
we could
not?
just do it this way.
All right, why not? So here's the thing. You've been commissioner through good times and bad. You've been commissioner through good prices and bad prices. Prices are one thing, but it doesn't matter what the prices are if you don't get a crop.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, for some of those producers out there, it's even far worse because they're somewhere under a claim but have quality issues that crop insurance isn't going to pay for, whether it's test weight, protein, all those other fun facts. And then you have devastation in such a broad area. So you have the livestock industry, you have the grain farmers, and a large portion of our state that is impacted really, really dramatically. And you get it from both sides, and you try to manage through that. Livestock producers think that grain producers are trying to take advantage of them on the price, yet the reality is the expenses that go into raising a crop, they're going to fall short with a crop insurance check. In some places, no, but in other places, yes, and especially if you're looking at corn and some of those things. I know that prices on hay are exorbitant, but in some cases, guys told me they had to bale up 4 acres before they got a bale.
Yeah.
And you start factoring that into all your expenses and what the price of land is and rent and everything else, it hurts. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's what it is. Part of our job, as I see as the commissioner and government in general, is to empower people, try to find some solutions, try to find some tools out there, see what we can do to help offset some of the cost and the misery. But I get calls where people want me to enable them, just do everything for them. And I get that when you're hurt, you're in duress, you're not thinking clear, it's like you see no hope. then yeah, you're going to be saying, just do something for me. And I get that. But we're working on some things. CRP is now open, and under the 2018 Farm Bill, we found out there's some language in there that allows all contracts, if you're in a designated area, to be open for emergency haying. And that has to be determined by the county. Now, I think 50 out of 53 counties can do that. I'd like to address the other 3 counties that are on the fringes and adjacent to these counties of having that same ability. And I believe there are some things in play, and we're still working through some of that. A lot of people have been asking about the emergency feed transportation program that we've done in the past. There's some changes that took place in the last legislative session that actually restricted what the Emergency Commission can appropriate or approve in authority in the next biennium, and it's $5 million, as I understand.
Before you move on, why? Because that one's come up to me too. I mean,
Yeah.
why? Why did they stick their nose? I have to ask.
Yeah.
It wasn't as though it was being abused. Why?
Well, actually, from my understanding, they believe it was being abused, that so much money came through the Emergency Commission this last year. They felt that they didn't have enough say in it. They felt that some of those dollars and those programs that were where authority was given and appropriation was made, they felt it was not a good use of those monies, even though it was federal money.
I get to make one other point then about that.
Yeah.
The federal money was supposed to get spent, right?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, this is the same group of people that got $8 billion in their checkbook. Right? I mean, here's the thing, Doug. If I got $8 billion in my checkbook and you tell me it's time to pick up the bar tab, I'm going to pick up the bar tab.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and I know they didn't like some of the programs and they thought they weren't meaningful or they wasted some of that money. I will tell you that all the appropriations we asked for, I believe, served the public, served our communities, served this nation well. I mean, we had cost share programs to help with meat facilities for the consumer and for the producer. We had a program in place that helped our those that are in need in our communities, whether they're financially strapped or whether it's the elderly. So what it did, it was a charitable food organization grant that helped put freezers and coolers and dehydrators and things into senior citizen centers, into some of our food banks, our soup kitchens, into our churches that provide services in those communities for the elderly and those in need.
Got food moving.
Yeah. Well, and it helped preserve it, and it helped with people being isolated and shut down in areas. This gave them the ability to have some of that.
As a former legislator, I can tell you that I'm okay with the legislature doing certain things and making sure they control that branch of government, but there's a reason for the Emergency Commission too.
Well,
I mean,
and
there is a reason.
And now it's going to restrict us because we actually need about $5.5 million to run this emergency feed transportation program, and yet I'm only going to be able to ask for about $2.5 million because $2 million's already been spent. Now,
Will it take a special session, or can you do this through the Legislative Council?
So it's going to have to go through the Emergency Commission, then the budget section. I talked with leadership. Leadership said they are going to be having another session this fall. There's $1 billion more coming to North Dakota. I have a list in for that, which is going to, again, promote and support our communities, support the people, support our businesses, our economy, help push us down that road, and support biosciences, along with doing something for our farmers and ranchers, probably more for our livestock producers than anything else, because I'm going to come back and maybe ask for some more money. But the Emergency Feed Transportation Program is in play. We're going to be asking the Emergency Commission to hear the application, hear the request, and see if we can get it funded. And then if we have to, we'll come back around. That gives some people some light at the end of the tunnel. That we intend to make it retroactive going back into this spring, because we had people that were already purchasing feed and moving livestock then. The hay hotline, we've expanded its use and what people should be looking at or could look at. So it's not just for those that have some pasture or some feed. It's also for services such as trucking services, chopping services, Feedlots, if they're, now that we got some corn out there, in some places are going to be able to feed some livestock this fall.
Might be the only thing some of that corn's good for.
Yeah.
Right.
On my place, right now, we looked at it this last week, 60 to 70% is going to have to go, it's going to have to be ensiled or cut for hay. Now, cutting for hay is a much more difficult thing, but there's some people that have expressed some interest. I actually put those fields into the hay hotline, so people are interested. They can go on there and look. And the other thing we're going to do is have to work on some things with respect to what are some guidelines for purchasing silage and doing some things.
Right.
We work with NDSU because there's a big extreme out there.
Yeah. I have more. What a surprise, right? I have more. When we come back, I want to talk about genetics a little bit. I want to talk about what option farmers have. So stick around. More with Ag Commissioner Doug Goehring when we come back.
Hey everybody, I'm Doug Billings, your host of The Right Side with Doug Billings on Beck News. We bring you high-profile guests, ladies and gentlemen, exclusive guests. Now, you're not going to see these guests in most of the mainstream media outlets. Another thing that I do here is give guests a platform to speak freely. You're not going to see me censor anybody. Please join us, won't you? Weeknights right here on Beck TV and online at beck.news. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Introducing the Cool Turtle, the ultra-comfortable mask enhancer that creates a protective, cool, and breathable space between your mask and your face. Simply slide under any mask or gaiter and immediately feel the refreshing pocket of air surrounding your face. Cool Turtle's ergonomically designed, soft, comfortable shell immediately reduces mask friction, allowing you to breathe and talk in a comfortable environment.
I can actually breathe. With the Cool Turtle, no more sweating.
It's like I don't even have a mask on.
Call now and get not one, not two, but 3 Cool Turtles for just $10. Order now and we'll send you 2 more Cool Turtles free. No fees, absolutely free. Plus, you can get a 10-pack of 4-ply face masks. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon. Get the real Cool Turtle now.
Call 1-800-270-1219. That's 1-800-270-1219. Or visit getcoolturtle.com. Order now.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
I'm Rick Becker from No Apologies. Welcome to your after hours oasis of sanity. Watch us weeknights at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Could you do us a favor? Beck TV is a finalist for Best Local TV Station in the Bismarck Tribune's Best of the Best. Vote now through August 9th by text or online. Vote for your leader in local, Beck TV.
Doug Goehring's been our ag commissioner for a long time in the state of North Dakota. He's worked through every part of the process that you have to work for on behalf of farmers and ranchers. I may agree, I may disagree, but the one thing I've always had is a good relationship with him when it comes to a conversation about where we're at today. Where we're at today is dry. Where we're at today is farmers need help, whether it's a farmer or a rancher. We were talking about that before the break. I want to continue that conversation. Commissioner, genetics, and you understand the difference between production ag and livestock. There's 2 different things there, but both of them involve genetics. The seed and how the seed has been developed has been better. Yes. And on the break, you and I were talking about 2006. Describe to people what you're saying.
So in 2006, that was a severe drought for us. I had wheat that made 3 inches high and headed out. We actually had a little more rain in 2006 than we do today. My corn only got about 3.5 feet high in 2006. So technology and genetics and breeding programs and research have come so far. My corn actually got to 4.5 feet this time, from less moisture.
Which means it's still silage or it's going to go into a bale.
The end result is still the same. But the reality is, I see a better, healthier plant out there now. And we have been able to weather this storm. It's a challenging, difficult thing. The other thing that's happened in the livestock industry, they have continued to improve on their genetics, and a lot of these livestock producers have been building up for generations the livestock genetics that they want, they need, they have, because within that scope of the land you utilize, how you manage it, all that land is different personality, grows different forages, it's in a different environment, and you can actually tailor your livestock to that environment. Plus, some other added benefits to that, how they're going to finish or how they're going to background, how they're going to finish, how they're going to develop out on grass, how they utilize and convert forage. All those things are factors, and every livestock producer has done that to a degree on their farm, their ranch, and it works for them. And now they have to sell those genetics off. Some have had conversations about, well, do I keep some of my best cows, just a handful of them, and keep some heifers? And that's a good start. But again, you got to think about, my operating costs here. Can I make it through this year? Can I find enough feed?
And what the price is when you go to market.
Yeah, and what the price is now, and what's it going to be like when I buy back. The only nice thing is, so in 2000, I think that was 2016, 2017 and 18, there was a change in IRS code about the fact that if you had a gain from selling your livestock in a drought, that gain could be averted or at least extended for 4 years. So if you bought livestock back in 4 years, at least you didn't have the tax liability on the gain. That still exists today. That's a good thing for those that are going to have to buy or want to buy back. The ones that I'm concerned about are the ones that are exiting, because they're at that age where if they sell out, they're probably not going to come back in. Yet they're really not ready to retire either, and they shouldn't have to. And that's going to be devastating and hurting our industry as a whole and our ag sector here in North Dakota and our economy. One of the programs we developed through the Bank of North Dakota is we tweaked what we had earlier and just said, if you're going to participate in the Rebuilders program, it's not restricted to you had to have sold off previously. This is going to allow anybody to tap into the program. That's a young producer, a new producer, a producer that now there's ample land, in the area, and it has to be utilized. They can at least participate in this program, but it's just trying to get everybody through this year.
I want to talk a little bit, if I can, about the 30% rule. And this is me and buddies hanging out in the Manor VFW as they try to teach me how they market their crop. But a lot of them will sell 30% of their crop before they have it in the bin.
Yes.
That's the nature. You don't sit there and sell all your crop. You don't put all your eggs into one basket. Fair?
Exactly. And you don't do all your marketing in harvest time when it's the lowest.
Exactly.
So you try to hit those highs throughout the year.
And so this year it actually was a pretty good thing that the market wasn't that bad before you started putting seed in the ground. Doesn't do you any good if you don't have any crop to sell.
No, exactly. And if you're working with a processor where you have I'll call it a specialized crop, something besides corn, soybeans, and wheat, you might have some active gods you can work through on that. But when it comes to corn, soybeans, and wheat, you're working with an elevator. You're working within the entire grain system. So the Chicago Board of Trade is going to play a role in all this. That generally means you have to deliver the bushels. If you can't deliver the bushels, you have to buy out of that contract, and you have to pay the difference. And elevators sit on hedge accounts, and they have costs associated. So there's a lot of factors here there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of hurt.
So you and I are sitting here talking about our farmers, our ranchers, North Dakota, Western Minnesota, those type of things, Northern South Dakota. I get it. I understand it. But you know a lot of people in your time as an ag commissioner that know other states. This can be a bad thing too. If other states, not to wish ill will on them, but if they've got a good crop, that isn't good for us as we sit here with a bad crop. So what are you seeing out there in the Plains states? What are you seeing in terms of crop?
So visiting with my colleagues in other states, there's some good crop coming on. They're talking about some places, and grant you, it may be more localized within a county or several counties within a state, especially when we're talking Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin. They're looking at some bumper crops in some of those areas. Other places are just looking at average to slightly above average. Yeah, that's going to keep the market depressed to some degree, which helps out if you're trying to get out of a contract or buy your way out of a contract. But what little bit you're going to harvest on, some of our farms in North Dakota, you're not going to get paid a decent amount. And it has implications. So
I have a friend who goes custom combining every year. Starts out in Oklahoma, works his way up. I put him on Mondays on my radio show, just because farmers love to hear what he's finding out in terms of yield. I've done this for a number of years. They were good this year. There were good yields. Sometimes he ran into 50 bushel wheat, that type of thing. But this was an indicator to me that we're the ones suffering. And for others out there, because seed prices are going to go up, everything that goes
all
along.
your expenses going to go through the roof, as we've seen in the past, and we have to follow that up, and we always seem to be behind. And it works as long as the market's going up. The minute the market stops, stalls out, or goes the other way, like it did in 2012, for 7 years, farmers suffered. Because we always had these high seed prices, high fertility prices, crop protection products were high, rent was high. I mean, landlords looked at it and said, my God, I missed out when it was these high prices and you were getting these good crops. So then they won't drop or lower rents, and it continues to abuse the farmer who's just trying to hang on, and they don't want to give it up. And they know they've got a lot invested in that land, even though they don't own it. They've been managing it. They know what it is. They want to keep it. So they'll pay the prices.
No different than the cattle. They've got the land in the shape they want. And here's the thing with the landlords, and some work with these ag producers. I get that. But promise me this. The individuals that kind of swoop in and say, well, I'll take on more land, I'll take on more land. When it doesn't work for them, promise me they won't get bailed out, because they're the ones.
I don't intend to. It is one of the pet peeves and one of the issues that exist in our industry, and it's in communities. I mean, my community is fairly good in that no one's out there bidding land away from each other. But guess what? Now that it's getting so easy to travel and move equipment, there's 3 new farmers in our area that come from a long ways away, and they have pushed prices up 20, 30, and 40%. And we're going, I don't know how you think you're going to make it, because the minute we get a drought, you're going to find out what that land's worth. They're finding out now, but we're all stuck with the prices.
And I know neither one of us wish ill will on anyone, but rent prices come up because of them, right?
Yes.
Fair.
Yep.
And it's a big part of it. Now, when you look at the biggest issue, when you talk to ag producers, just like I talk to ag producers, they know that they can take a bad year. They know that. They've been through it, done it. Yeah, 1 year goes on. I mean, the biggest fear that the guys that I talk to have right now is we're at the beginning of a cycle.
And we very well could be. I'm not going to say whether we are or we're not, but you make a good point. For a large part of North Dakota, this drought started last summer. Came into this year. If we don't start to recharge the system and the profile, you won't be growing much grass and you won't be growing any crops in the future. We lived off from subsoil last year. This year you can tell it's not there. And then you have to be fed timely rains just to manage through it. But when you got 95 and 100 degree temps, that burns that up real quick. You never want to pull hope away from people. but you definitely have to try and do your best to mitigate the risk. And going forward, everybody's looking. They don't know what's around the corner. They don't know what's next. Maybe that's why our ag people are just such faithful people, is because they live in a world and an environment you don't know the outcome, and you don't get a paycheck no matter what.
I still think a big part of why they stay so optimistic and are willing to get up every morning through tough times and work, they have the luxury at the end of the day of seeing what they did. And there's nothing better than that. For me, small comparison, when I mow grass, I get to get off and look at my 3 acres I mow and say, there, I got that done.
It looks pretty darn good.
It looks pretty doggone good, and a farmer can take pride in that. This year, not so much. Last little bit I got to talk to you about, obviously the ranchers in the packing industry. There's a war going on here. What can you do as Ag Commissioner to get after these packers and stick up for the ranchers?
So working with my colleagues, we've continued to push the issue within USDA and previous administration, this administration. We need some changes. We need some modifications. We need things tweaked. Mandatory price reporting needs to be changed. It needs to be fixed. I had that conversation in the previous administration, and they were willing to listen, and they did listen, and they actually made some suggestions that we need to do on the outside to push that issue along. Packers and Stockyards Act, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be heard, and it needs to be updated, and it needs to close some of the loopholes. Right now, people wonder why they can operate the way they do, because their attorneys point out we're operating within the confines of the law.
Sure.
I will say that there might be an enforcement on some aspects of it, but that isn't our total problem, whether they own some livestock or not. If it's illegal, it's illegal, it needs to be dealt with. But the issue is much broader and bigger than that. And I truly believe that mandatory price reporting will help alleviate some of those problems.
But if I go into the grocery store and I see a package that says grown right here, made right here, I'm going to buy it. If I pay $1 more, I'm going to buy it because I know I'm helping my ranchers.
Yep.
So, I'm going to ask you this. Do we need country of origin labeling?
Would it help? I believe it would. Could you get Congress to address it? I mean, it's been repealed. We've lost 2 WTO cases. It's a Washington, D.C. issue, and I've fought and defended it, at least on the other animals that we have within the system, when at the Trinational Accord, Canada wanted it pulled out again. Mm-hmm. Or they wanted it addressed within the sheep, goats, and other parts of our industry. And I said, until it comes before our producers in the United States, we're taking it off the table.
Well, keep fighting the good fight, because that country of origin labeling will matter. It will. And, start thinking like the old NPL and let's build our own meat packing plant. That's a topic for another day.
We've talked about it.
One other topic for another day. I am seeing more goats raised out there for production ag than I've ever seen before. When I'm riding my Harley, I'm like, when did he start raising goats?
We might have to start adding another commodity to our list. We got 54 different commodities we produce in North Dakota.
Yeah.
Goats might actually start ending up on the commercial side of that, where we'll have to add them to our list.
Goat meat is starting to sell.
Goat meat and dairy.
Commissioner, good to talk to you. Thank you. Thanks for coming down the road. When we come back, I've got some thoughts for you, not the least of which is about vaccination and leadership. So stick around as we go down the road.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. This drug remains approved by the FDA. If you or a loved one regularly took Zantac and were later diagnosed with cancer, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Potential cancers include bladder cancer, colon cancer, kidney cancer, stomach cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer. Do not stop taking a prescribed medication without first consulting with your doctor. Discontinuing a prescribed medication without your doctor's advice can result in injury or death.
Call 1-800-230-9210.
Seniors, are you aware that you could pay less for your car insurance?
Seniors can save money on their car insurance.
You might save a little, you might save a lot.
Maybe hundreds of dollars a year.
You might save 5% a year, maybe 10%, 15%, or even more.
That's a lot of money.
So call right now and find out just how much money you might be able to save.
1-800-699-0761. 1-800-699-0761.
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Reginae. The winning team is the Flumin River Excellent.
Oh my God!
They won!
You know, there's a reason he's an infectious disease specialist and the head of it for Sanford. Look around your town. Look around where you go. If you get busted up, you're going to go to a Sanford hospital, at least one of them. In many areas, it's probably the one you're going to go to because those are the big, well, that's the big outfit in our area. So Dr. Avish Nagpul is a man who knows what he's talking about. And when we talked about what that percentage was of the number of people that have to be vaccinated before we're all opened up, we're all rocking and rolling, he said it needs to be 80 to 90%. One of the problems people have is that the marker keeps getting moved, right? It was supposed to be 70%. Well, we're getting close to 70%. So it needs to be this, it needs to be that. I trust him. 80%. This Delta variant has changed things. And if the knowledge that they gain by things changing and the science that comes with it, if they're not, and they don't have the ability to tell us the message of that time, then they're not doing their job. They are doing their job. They're giving us information that we need. Now, let me give you an example of information that I think we deserve. Okay? Let me see how I can say this delicately. I had Senator Kevin Cramer on my radio show. I said, have you been vaccinated? He said, it's none of your business. He said it differently. He said it in a more polite manner, but he basically said none of your business. Usually when they say, or they won't say whether or not they've been vaccinated, it's because they haven't been vaccinated. That's neither here nor there. He's going to tell you don't know because I didn't tell you. The next question was the bigger question, which is, do you and are you going to encourage people to be vaccinated? Because there's a group of people out there that are about as strict of conservatives as you can be that follow Kevin Cramer religiously. I mean, he is their connection. And so if he would tell them to go get vaccinated, it would help. Those individuals that aren't being vaccinated would be vaccinated. I want to give you an example on a region-wide scale of what I'm talking about. We've got individuals. I'm a diehard Vikings fan. I'm a season ticket holder. I love the Vikings since I was little, and we've never won a Super Bowl. I know it. All you Packer fans yelling at your TV right now, I know it. You don't have to say it. That being said, as a Vikings fan, you always have hope this time of year. It usually goes away, but you have hope this time of year. Well, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, two of the key players for the Vikings, have been put on, you know what, you can't come near the team for a while type leave because there's a fear of them having COVID, because the backup quarterback had COVID. Now the question becomes, why haven't they been vaccinated? Why? Here's my suspicion. These are two of the most religious players on that team, all in the name of Christianity. Well, I'm a Christian, and I believe you should get vaccinated. I believe that the Lord is the one who empowered the intelligence that created the vaccine. You know, I don't think that's a stretch as a Christian to believe that. And so to sit there and use Christianity as an excuse as to why you don't believe people should get vaccinated, to sit there and say, well, you know, this isn't the problem is big government, they're wrong. They're wrong. And I can tell you this, their teammates don't like it. Coach Zimmer said it best when he said, I don't see what the problem is. Get vaccinated. Stick around. I'll have some more closing comments for you here as we end our trip down the road.
Do you worry about going to the dentist? After all, a visit to the dentist can easily cost $2,000 or more. Well, relax. The Carefree Dental Card is now available in your area. Call now and we'll send your actual card at no cost today. With the Carefree Dental Card, you go to the dentist whenever you need and you instantly pay a lot less. Activate your card and you can start using it immediately. From exams and cleanings to more expensive procedures like crowns, dentures, even braces, they're all included with the Carefree Dental Card. Say you go to the dentist today without any card and your bill is, well, ouch. Wait a minute, let's try that again. You go to the dentist today and show your Carefree Dental Card, you save $525. The Carefree Dental Card is just $15.95 a month, so call now and make going to the dentist carefree.
Call 1-800-416-5739 to receive your Carefree Dental Card information kit. 1-800-416-5739. Call now.
I can't say enough good things about these nano hearing aids.
Real people talking about nano hearing aids.
The hearing quality is great.
Until now, hearing aids used to be too expensive for the average person. Until nano. Call now and you'll get your nano hearing aids for only $297. You'll save $100. When you buy one hearing aid, Nano will give you a second hearing aid free. Call right now.
1-800-213-3815.
Spas, etc.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you can pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm coming to you with the most important commercial that I've ever done. All of you know what MyPillow and myself have gone through in the last 5 months in my efforts to bring the truth forward. Well, it's all come down to this. I'm having a cyber symposium on August 10th, 11th, and 12th. This historical event will be live streamed 72 hours straight on my new platform, frankspeech.com. You can help by getting everybody you know to go to frankspeech.com now. To help support this Cyber Symposium event, I am offering some of the best prices ever on MyPillow products, but they're only offered at frankspeech.com. Go to frankspeech.com now and use the promo code on your screen or call the 1-800 number below to receive these exclusive MyPillow offers. Thank you and God bless.
All right, let me take one more run at this, and then you can say, okay, Heitkamp, I thought you preached at us enough in the last segment. Think of yourself as a restaurant, right? Think of yourself as a restaurant owner. And what you want is the ability in some of these areas. Let's use Fargo as an example. You know, Bismarck's a little bit different in terms of how it's governed. Fargo, Grand Forks. You're sitting there and you just want to be full, open to full capacity. You don't want people coming in to have to worry about masks. You don't want people sitting there and having to look at your workers and say, you have to wear a mask. You don't want any of that. We can do that. We can get to there. if you just get vaccinated. It's going backwards, folks. Now, the good news with all of that is that some of you are. Some of you individuals that never thought you'd be vaccinated are going to get vaccinated. It took younger people to get the Delta variant to get vaccinated. It took to contract the Delta variant and to be laying in that hospital room to get vaccinated. Now, if you look at the age group of where we're sitting, we can do better at 18 and older, as you're seeing right here. We can do better, and we need to do better. What was so uncommon was to see someone who contracted COVID in that age group get really sick. It's happening now. The Delta variant is tougher, and it spreads easier. And so if you want to protect yourself, if you want to be here with us another day, if we want to continue going down the road together, you know what? Get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. Because it isn't a joke. What's happening out there is not a joke. It's true. When you have representatives and senators and others coming forward and saying, well, you know, I didn't think we needed to, but we did it. Because Teddy ended up in the hospital. He ended up fighting for his life. I don't want that to happen to me. I can tell you of a story in Wahpeton. Young man, healthy as all get out. Young family. He wasn't going to get vaccinated for whatever reason. I don't know the reason. I do know this. He wasn't going to get vaccinated. He ended up lying on his back, lying on his belly, sick as heck, with tubes stuck in him and wondering whether or not he was going to live, while his family did most of their time praying. Doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be you. Now, this individual came out of it. This individual is back out being a father. The question is he ever going to be the same? That's a fair question to ask. Get vaccinated, please. Good riding with you, folks.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use your promo code, and for a limited time, when you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide